The Miami Heat started this game up 20-4, and albeit prematurely in hindsight, I already brought out my belt because I thought we were going to get a little TCB BTA, which stands for take care of business, belt to ass. But instead, the Warriors came all the way back and actually took the lead multiple times. And then I thought I was going to need this belt for something else. No, not for that reason that y'all thinking, dog. That's messed up. But I was going to use this belt to beat the Heat's ass if they would have lost to that Warriors team. If you can even call that team the Warriors. Because they had everybody out tonight. No Steph Curry. Missed his game in Miami for the second year in a row. So definitely feel bad for a lot of people that bought tickets and went to go see him. But then you know what? I actually don't feel bad for any kid that went to that game and wanted to see Steph Curry. Because you go to the games to watch the Miami Heat play. Not to watch Steph Curry play. It is annoying. I've been to a few Heat Warriors games, and you got all these kids in the Steph Curry jerseys. What's so good about Steph Curry? Is it because he's the greatest shooter of all time, and at 37 years old, he's still dropping 40-plus points on a regular basis? I do get it. But hey, it's in Miami. I ain't rooting for none of those kids, even if they are kids. Go get yourself a Simone Fontecchio jersey. Go get yourself a Drew Smith jersey. That's a real basketball player right there. And any of these parents, this is something my guy Brendan Toby used to say for years. Any of these parents that are wearing Heat jerseys and they stick their son in a Klay Thompson jersey or Steph Curry jersey, you're a bad parent. I'm sorry. Yeah, go get him a Davion Mitchell jersey. Do you want to teach your kid good values? Go get him a Pelle Larsson jersey then. Anyways, you had no him. You had no Draymond Green today. He was terrified after getting dunked on by Wemby a few games ago. Didn't want the same thing to happen from Ware. Beast mode Khalil Ware. That boy was balling today, so you knew Draymond was going to be scared and sit out. And then, of course, you had no Jimmy Butler. The guy who said he had a little bit of back pain. Oh, boo-hoo. Listen, I don't even know if I could call him Jimmy Butler anymore. Because the Jimmy that I know would have never ducked the smoke like he did today. Oh, Pat Riley didn't want to pay you? Oh, they went ahead and traded you because they didn't want to give you the max money? They didn't think you were worth it? And you respond by sitting out? The Jimmy I know would have never sat out. The Jimmy that I know was the ultimate competitor, and he would have demanded to play today and went to drop 30, 40 points. And last year, he did play in Miami. I was at that game. It was a great time. I did give him a standing ovation at the beginning, and then obviously I booed him the rest of the game because, as you can see, I still got respect for Jimmy Butler, still got the jersey up, but not tonight. Matter of fact, I'm going to go right back here. We're going to turn it. You know what? Tyler Hero, we'll be back soon. You're going back face up. Jimmy Butler, go sit in the corner. Jimmy Butler is staring at the corner for this one. The Jimmy bobblehead does not get the courtesy of looking at the camera. You don't want to play in the game, Jimmy? You don't get to be a viewer of this post-game video, Jimmy. Soft. That's what he is. Soft. Don't tell him I said that. He will kick my ass. I do kind of feel bad for Jimmy. There was that video going viral from a couple days ago of like a fan cursing him out in the street because Jimmy messed up his parlay. And it's like, okay, maybe I don't feel bad for Jimmy. He's getting paid millions of dollars and whatever. But like, those guys are people too. You know, I sit on this post-game video and just talk crap for fun. You know, we make jokes, but I would never approach those guys in life and start cursing them out. Like, they're dudes with families. Like, Jimmy's just trying to go out and enjoy his day. And although he's getting compensated very well, that doesn't mean you're allowed to harass him. And I just thought the guy in that video was very lame. Like, people thought it was funny. Oh, hi, he's making fun of Jimmy because Jimmy helped screwed over his parlay. It's like, it's lame, dude, you know. Speaking of parlays, shout out to FanDuel, the sponsor of today's video, where I actually noticed that right now you can bet on the Miami Heat to be a specific seed in the Eastern Conference. For example, you can get them to be number 6 at plus 700, number 4 at plus 900. You can get them to be number 2 at plus 1500. And honestly, I like these bets a lot because I don't know where exactly the Heat will stand, but I feel pretty confident saying they'll finish somewhere between 3 and 6. So if you throw a little bit of money on all those with such great odds that you see here, you can almost guarantee yourself a profit. Now, there's really no way to know for sure, especially since this Eastern Conference is so jumbled up right now. If you take a look at the standings, they're not quite updated as of today, but obviously with the Heat's win, they're going to be 9-6. So they're already going to be tied for third in terms of the loss column, but they'd only be one back of the Raptors, who have won like 9 out of their last 10. I didn't think the Raptors would suck, but I didn't think they'd be that damn good. They're certainly hooping, though. But either way, the Heat would just be one game back of them. And the only team in the East that's really set themselves apart is the Pistons. Not surprising. It's the Duncan Robinson effect. We should have expected it. Even though that team's got that Jenkins guy balling out of nowhere, which frustrates me. The Heat are supposed to be the team that gets all these hidden gems, these diamonds in the rough. Now you got all these other teams with them. Like even today, the Warriors, the Pat Spencer. Oh my God, Pat Spencer, bro. We are familiar with Pat Spencer. Us Heat degenerates, me and you watching this video, we know Pat Spencer because he cooked Miami in the Summer League, I think, last year. He's a good player. Definitely Heat culture guy. But the Heat are supposed to get those intangible white boys out of nowhere. The Heat are. Whether it was Max Strus or Cole Swider or now Pelle Larsson, we're supposed to get those guys, man. But now there's a bunch of them all over the league. But yeah, the Pistons are hooping. They got that Jenkins kid who's not white. I didn't mean to say he was another random white guy, but he's a good player. And Jalen Duren, my God, he's taking a massive leap this year. I was really banking on Jaime hopefully winning most improved player. Jalen Duren might have that unlock. He's been on a roll. So, and obviously Cade is a superstar. So that team's been hooping. Not saying they can't come back down to earth, but right now they've set themselves apart. And then pretty much everybody from 2 through 11 right now. That's the Raptors, Cavs, Knicks, Hawks, Heat, 76ers, Bulls, Celtics, Magic, and Bucks could really finish anywhere from 2 to 11. So it's crazy to think about. I just think on paper, the Heat team is a little bit better than most of those teams. Not to mention that the Heat are nearing the end of the rough part of their schedule that we said to start the season, and that should coincide with the return of Tyler Hero. Obviously got Bam back tonight. So I do expect the Heat to go on a little bit of a run ski pretty soon. But anyways, once we got the news earlier today, the unsurprising news, I should say, that the Warriors guys were going to be out. I say unsurprising because they played last night, and considering that team would be the oldest team in the league, if not for the retirement home Clippers. What do they call it? The unction? If not for the unction, the Warriors would be the oldest team in the league. So I kind of figured those guys would sit. We knew Al Horford was going to sit too, we should mention. So not surprising that those guys sat. That being said, I don't think any Heat fan would have been surprised had the Heat lost this game because they've been doing that for years. I saw the Heat lose to Amir Coffey single-handedly multiple times in a season. Not to mention we just lost to Landry Shamet 3 games ago? Was it 2 games ago? So I was really annoyed after that Knicks game because everyone in the locker room, you heard them all talk, yeah, this is a real wake-up call, whatever. I'm like, BS, dude. BS. That's not a wake-up call because how can you have 62 wake-up calls? Because you've been losing to teams without their stars for 6 years now. It's not a wake-up call. It's just called playing down to your competition. Either that or just not being a good enough rebounding team. Because again today, the Warriors killed the Heat on the offensive rebound glass. I don't know what the final numbers look like. We'll look at those a little bit later. But eye test-wise, not good. And it's like I don't really want to blame effort because a lot of times I more so blame personnel and Heat not having a lot of size. You also didn't have Nikola Jovic today. Not that he's a good rebounder, but he's like your second tallest player. So, you didn't already from a personnel standpoint, you're not really built to get rebounds. And I understand the fast-paced scheme and guys leaking out and playing a lot of zone and forcing a lot of threes. All of those things make it difficult to secure defensive rebounds. But you also played the Golden State Warriors, who started like a 6'9" Trace Jackson Davis at the 5. And then you had 6'7" Guy Santos at the power forward spot. And then you had Quentin Post, who's not a post player, funny enough. He shoots threes. He is big, but still, it's not like he's some big bruising center. He had a couple nice post moves today. But my point still stands. He's not a big bruising center. So this Warriors team is extremely small, and they still killed you on the glass. Because it wasn't just their bigs, quote-unquote bigs, because they're not even big. It was the Pat Spencers, as we said. It was Podziemski getting rebounds. So that leads me to believe it's a little bit of an effort thing at times, Again, it's human nature. You get off to a 20-4 lead. It's only human nature that you relax. But I would have liked to see the Heat, not make it as close as it ended up being, We'll get through my notes a little bit here so we can kind of talk about everyone. In the first quarter, like I said, he got off to a blazing start, kind of defensively. I guess they didn't score too much, but they were locking stuff down. The Warriors had like 3 24-second violations, and they actually didn't hit a field goal first 6.5 minutes. The first 6.5 minutes, they only had 4 points. It was 4 free throws. The Heat were up 20-4. Bam obviously got the starts, so they slid, I think, who they slide to the bench? They slid Kuluware to the bench, obviously. And then Bam came in, hit his first triple, so I was feeling real good for him. Bam ended up having a relatively nice night, picked it up in the second half, and I felt good because Asia was in attendance. And you never want to perform poorly in front of your girl. That goes for on and off the court, guys. Make sure you take note of that. But anyways, the Warriors would hit some shots. Buddy Hield got going a little bit. So the Warriors were going on a little bit of a run to only be down 9 at the end of the first quarter. And if I remember correctly, I think that game versus the Cavs, actually, where they beat us with their starters out, the Heat were up 9 to start that first quarter also. And I remember thinking, okay, it's not too bad, but you better kind of build this thing up going into halftime. And like the Heat didn't in the Cavs game, they also did not in this game today versus the Warriors. The Heat were really letting them hang around, despite the Warriors only shooting like around 25% pretty much throughout the second quarter. The Warriors would actually tie it with 2 minutes to go, but the Heat would be at 4 at halftime, despite the Warriors' 12 offensive rebounds, which is just way too many. They're going into the third quarter. It was mostly a lot of the same. There was a few plays that frustrated me. This one play, Moses Moody shot a jump hook, airballed. The Heat just watched the airball because they were going to let it go out of bounds, I guess. I don't know why. Secured a rebound. But anyways, Moses Moody then swipes in, catches his own airball, which is a self-pass. It is a self-pass, a travel, whatever you want to call it. You can't catch your own airball if it didn't touch nothing. And the refs are just watching Moses Moody catch his own pass, and they call nothing. He ends up kicking it out to someone who ended up hitting the shot. But it's like the second time that he got screwed on an obvious self-pass in a 3-game span. Because if you remember in the game in New York, Karl Anthony Towns threw a pass to the corner, ran to the corner, caught it, shoot a 3, no call. How do you miss these things? It's like there's some plays, block charge, is it debatable? Was he sliding? If a guy passes to himself, that's not debatable. Everyone on the court for the Heat saw it. Everyone on the Heat sideline, the coaching staff saw it. Me as a viewer saw it, except the referees that looking right at it. That part frustrates me like crazy. Not to mention all the offensive rebounds that he gave up in that quarter. There was the one AirPods one that led to, I think, Post hitting a 3. And then Pat Spencer, the 6'2" white boy, got an offensive rebound and put back. Even Eric Reed got mad at that one, rightfully so. And then finally, Spo brought in Khalil Ware. Ware had a nice first half, 8 rebounds. He sat most of the third quarter. And I'm like, okay, good. Ware's in here to stop this a little bit. And then Ware got torched by Quentin Post, falling for all his pump fakes, jumping at the 3-point line. It's like, Ware, you 7 feet tall. I know Post is as well, but you 7 feet tall. You don't need to jump to contest a lot of these threes. Just put your hand up. Don't completely sell out. I think that's one of the things he needs to work on a little bit. The Warriors would go up as much as 5 in that quarter, but only be up 2 going into the fourth quarter. But luckily in the fourth quarter, things did not go the way they did against the Cavs, where the Cavs went on a monster run. Instead, the Heat would finish the fourth quarter, outscoring the Warriors 38-22 in the period. I do think Khalil Ware played excellent in that quarter, super active on the glass, was tipping balls to himself off the glass, getting it back, and just using his length and athleticism. So I thought he had an awesome stretch down there late in the game. Not a perfect game from Ware. There's still a lot of times where I watch him lose his man after these offensive rebounds. It's like, okay, you're hustling, you're trying to get the rebound. Sometimes it's not Ware's fault because he can't get all the rebounds himself. Sometimes, like we say with Bam, those guys are able to box out and you need to rely on your teammates to get the rebound. But if your teammates are so small, sometimes they can't secure it. But then after they get the offensive rebound, I notice a lot of times Ware's kind of standing there instead of quickly locating his man. So just some things I want him to continue to work on. But overall, I think it was a very strong performance from Ware. And then Norman Powell, who had a rough start today, really got going late. The Heat would go up as much as double digits. The Warriors would still hang around, so the Heat couldn't pull away. But then Bam Adebayo got cooking. He finally looked a little bit more comfortable after some iffy shot selections in the first half. But then Bam hit a great three in rhythm, then had a beautiful midi pull-up after a fake pass, then had a contested running floater, driving baseline. So really showed the offensive versatility there and kind of shut the door. He was the one to shut the door on the Warriors tonight. I didn't love the closing lineup, though. It was Mitchell, Davion, Hame, Wiggins, and Bam. And it's like Hame didn't have a great game tonight. We'll start with his numbers first. 12 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. So those numbers look good, the counting stats, but 4 of 12 from the field. He was only 33%. Just not good efficiently. It's a couple games in a row now he struggled finishing in the paint. It's fine. It's a mini slump, if you want to call it that. He'll bounce back in terms of the scoring. To give him credit, I love that he's been doing so much more than scoring this year. As we just said, 5 boards and 7 rebounds and 2 steals. But specifically today, he was struggling offensively. Khalil Ware just had a great stretch to start the fourth quarter. Why not keep Ware in the game and play him next to Bam? It's like now Spo is refusing to play those two any minutes together at all. I understand if you don't want to start it because then it's hard to stagger the minutes, whatever, but this is the last 6 minutes of the game, and you're still getting killed on the offensive glass. Why not put Ware in there instead of Hame? It made no sense to me. It's not like Ware played a ton of minutes tonight. He only played 19 minutes. To me, it didn't make sense, and Spo's refusal to go to this 2 big man lineup. It's like he didn't want to do it for a year. He finally did it, and it's like he couldn't wait to get rid of it. That's just how I feel. Ware should have played more because the Warriors still got a lot of boards late, and it just, I don't know. I don't understand Spo's refusal to do it. I just don't get it. But we'll keep going through some of the numbers here. Pelle Larsson today, 10 points, 3 boards, 4 assists. Kind of rough shooting for him, but drew another charge today. I wish you could bet on FanDuel for him to draw a charge. I'd bet that every game. Every game he's drawing a charge on people much bigger than him. It's a good thing he's jacked. Otherwise, I'd be scared for his body to make it throughout the season. And Andrew Wiggins today, 17 points for him. Nobody on the Heat really shot all that efficient. But 17 points for him on 43%. Bam Adebayo with 20.7 rebounds. He was 7 of 13, so he obviously picked it up late in terms of efficiency. And then Davion Mitchell today, 5 points, 1 rebound, 6 assists, 0 turnovers. And then we might as well skip ahead to Drew Smith as well. Look at our little assist-to-turnover ratio that as we always do. Drew Smith today, 4 points and 2 turnovers. So in total, your 2-point guards had 8 assists to 2 turnovers. Clap it up for another beautiful game with a great assist-to-turnover ratio. I think E. Reed said during the broadcast that Davion has the second best assist-to-turnover ratio in the league. I'd like to know who's first, because every game we're talking about the assist-to-turnover ratio, and it's great outside of like the last game or two. But yeah, shout out to your 2-point guards, and then we'll round back up to the starting lineup. Norman Powell today, damn, 25 points on 71% shooting. And so he's a weird player, let me tell you, because it didn't feel like Norman Powell had a great first half, I guess because he really didn't shoot that much is probably what it was. He only took 14 shots on the day, but you're a damn good scorer when you feel like they didn't have a great night and you look up at the box score and they had 25 points and you didn't even notice it. That's the definition of a professional scorer. Wow, what an efficient night for him. Because he wasn't great the last couple nights either in terms of efficiency. But yeah, today, 71%. I take it back. I think I said Norman Powell didn't have a great start. But I guess he just didn't shoot that much is probably why I was thinking that. Because, yeah, 71%, 25 points on 14 shots is excellent. I'm also looking at the plus minuses today. I mean, Wiggins was a plus 25. Next highest plus minus was 15. And I just want to give him credit because I do think Wiggins did a lot of great things on the defensive end as well. But heading to the bench, we talked about Jaquez. Fontecchio today had a nice stretch early on, although he finished 2 of 10. From the field, but he did have 10 points. And then we talked about Drew Smith, and then finally Khalil Ware. Rough shooting night for him as well. Only 3 of 10, but did snag you 16 rebounds, including 4 offensive ones. So very nice night from Ware, I think. And he continues to stack on these good days, and that's all you can hope for. The final rebounding numbers for the Warriors, though, is they had 19 offensive rebounds. That's too much. In terms of shot attempts, they had 94 shots to Miami's 96. So the Heat actually did get more shots off, but that's because the Warriors did turn the ball over 21 times. So although the Heat gave up a ton of offensive rebounds, I do think they did a great job on the defensive end to force a lot of turnovers to kind of cancel that out. So, but regardless, you should never give up 19 offensive rebounds, especially to this Warriors team. So that part alone is a little bit frustrating. But that's all I got to say for this game. The Heat do have another big matchup on Friday versus Chicago Bulls, who got off to a hot start to start the season, cooled down a little bit, and then they just won in Denver like 2 nights ago. So that team's good. You know, Giddey's killed us in the past. He's having a great season, certainly. They got Kobe White back, so Vucevic is still doing his thing. You know, he's susceptible to getting 20 boards on you. The Heat need to lock in if they want to compete with that team, because I do think the Bulls are good. You know, not to mention it's an NBA Cup game. Who cares about that? You know, but I should mention it because I think the Heat are probably leading their group, right? Right now on FanDuel, if you look at the NBA Cup standings for their group, whatever group this is, I forget the letter, but the Heat aren't actually listed here because FanDuel is going to go ahead and update those odds. But you can see the Knicks are currently number 1 right now at plus 135. So assuming they don't have the Heat first, you know, you're going to get some pretty nice odds on the Heat to win their bracket. And I think that might be a good bet, considering we already beat the Knicks in cup play, considering they just now got Brunson back, but Anunoby still hurts. And then, of course, you got the Bucks who are missing Giannis for some time. So I actually kind of like the Heat's chances to win their division. And especially if they get a win on Friday. So if you want to throw a little bit of bread on FanDuel, make sure to get in before that Heat versus Bulls game. Anyways, that's all I got to say for this video. I do not know if will have a video for Friday because I'm taking my professional engineering exam on Saturday. So I might be too busy. I might not. Who knows? I'm actually driving up to a hotel near my testing center and staying the night. So if you do get a video, it'll be in the middle of a hotel room, but we'll see. I'll break out the camera and mic. I'll bring it with me. If it's a good game, I'll get y'all a video. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Also, comment your thoughts down below and like this video because your support is greatly appreciated. See y'all on the next one. Peace out, everyone.
Look, pull up in your city tryna get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.